Cantos 55 to 57 of Book 2 of the Ramayana of Valmiki, translated by Ralph T.H. Griffith. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Om123. Canto 55. The Passage of Yamuna. The princely tamers of their foes thus passed the night in calm repose. Then to the hermit having bent, with reverence on their way they went. High favour Bharadwaja showed, and blessed them ready for the road, with such fond looks as fathers throw on their own sons before they go. Then spake the saint with glory bright to Rama peerless in his might. First, lords of man, direct your feet where Yamuna and Ganga meet, then to the swift Kalindi go, whose westward waves to Ganga flow. When thou shalt see her lovely shore, worn by their feet who hasten over, then Raghu's son a raft prepare, and cross the sun-born river there. Upon her farther bank a tree, near to the landing wilt thou see, the blessed source of varied gifts. There her green boughs that fig tree lifts, a tree where countless birds abide, by Syama's name known far and wide. Sita, revere that holy shade, there be thy prayers for blessing prayed. Thence for a league your way pursue, and the dark wood shall meet your view, where tall bamboos their foliage show, the gum tree and the jujube grow. To Chitrakoot have I oft trodden that path so smooth and soft, where burning woods no travellers care, but all is pleasant, green and fair. When thus the guests their road had learned, back to his cot the hermit turned, and Rama, Lakshman, Sita paid their reverent thanks for courteous aid. Thus Rama spake to Lakshman when the saint had left the lords of man. Great store of bliss ensued these hours, on whom his love the hermit showers. As each to other wisely talked, the lion lords together walked on to Kalindi's woody shore, and gentle Sita went before. They reached that flood whose waters flee with rapid current to the sea. Their minds a while to thought they gave, and counselled how to cross the wave. At length, with logs together laid, a mighty raft the brothers made. Then dry bamboos across were tied, and grass was spread from side to side. And the great hero Lakshman brought cane and rose-apple boughs and wrought, trimming the branches smooth and neat, for Sita's use a pleasant seat. And Rama placed thereon his dame, touched with a momentary shame, resembling in her glorious mien all thoughts surpassing Fortune's queen. Then Rama hastened to dispose, each in its place, the skins and bows, and by the fair Bidehan laid the coats, the ornaments, and spade. When Sita thus was set on board, and all their gear was duly stored, the heroes each with vigorous hand pushed off the raft and left the land. When half its way the raft had made, thus Sita to Kalindi prayed. Goddess, whose flood I traverse now, grant that my lord may keep his vow. For thee shall bleed 1,000 kine, 100 jars shall pour their wine, when Rama sees that town again, where old Ikshaku's children reign. Thus to Kalindi's stream she sued, and prayed in suppliant attitude. Then to the river's bank the dame, fervent in supplication, came. They left the raft that brought them over, and the thick wood that clothed the shore, and to the fig trees Syama made their way so cool with verdant shade. Then Sita viewed that best of trees, and reverence spake in words like these: Hail, hail, O mighty tree, allow my husband to complete his vow. Let us returning, I entreat, Kaushalya and Sumitra meet. Then with her hands together placed, around the tree she duly paced. When Rama saw his blameless spouse, a suppliant under holy boughs, the gentle darling of his heart, he thus to Lakshman spake apart: Brother, by thee our way be led, let Sita close behind thee tread. I, best of man, will grasp my bow, and hindmost of the tree will go. What fruits soever her fancy take, or flowers half hidden in the brake, for Janak's child forget not thou to gather from the brake or bough. Thus on they fared, the tender dame, asked Rama as they walked the name of every shrub that blossoms bore, creeper and tree unseen before. And Lakshman fetched, at Sita's prayer, boughs of each tree with clusters fair. Then Janak's daughter joyed to see the scent-discoloured river flee, where the glad cry of many a bird, the saras and the swan, was heard. A league the brothers travelled through, the forest noble game they slew, beneath the trees their meal they dressed, and sat them down to eat and rest. A while in that delightful shade, where elephants unnumbered strayed, where peacocks screamed and monkeys played, they wandered with delight. Then by the river's side they found a pleasant spot of level ground, where all was smooth and fair around, their lodging for the night. Canto 54. Chitrakoot. Then Rama, when the morning rose, called Lakshman gently from repose. Awake, the pleasant voices hear of forest birds that warble near. Scourge of thy foes, no longer stay, the hour is come to speed away. The slumbering prince unclosed his eyes, when thus his brother bade him rise, compelling at the timely cry, fatigue and sleep and rest to fly. The brothers rose, and Sita too, pure water from the stream they drew, paid morning rites, then followed still, they rode to Chitrakoot's hill. Then Rama, as he took the road, with Lakshman, while the morning glowed, to the Videhan lady cried, Sita the fair, the lotus-eyed, Look round thee, dear, each flowery tree, touched with the fire of morning sea. The king shook, now the frosts are fled, how glorious with the wreaths of red! The bell-trees see, so loved of man, hanging their boughs in every glen, overburdened with their fruit and flowers, a plenteous store of food is ours. See, Lakshman, in the leafy trees, wherever they make their home, down hangs the work of labouring bees, the ponderous honeycomb. In the fair wood before us spread, the startled wild-cock cries, Hark, where the flowers are soft to tread, the peacock's voice replies. Where elephants are roaming free, and sweet birds' songs are loud, the glorious Chitrakoota see, his peaks are in the cloud. On fair smooth ground he stands displayed, begot by many a tree. O brother, in that holy shade, how happy shall we be! Then Rama, Lakshman, Sita each spoke, raising suppliant hands, this speech. To him in woodland dwelling met Valmiki, ancient anchoret. O saint, this mountain takes the mind, with creepers, trees of every kind, with fruit and roots abounding thus, a pleasant life it offers us. Here for a while we fain would stay, and pass a season blithe and gay. Then the great saint, in duty trained, with honour gladly entertained, he gave his guests a welcome fare, and bade them sit and rest them there. Rama of mighty arm and chest, his faithful Lakshman then addressed. Brother, bring hither from the wood selected timber strong and good, and build therewith a little cot. My heart rejoices in the spot that lies beneath the mountain's side, remote, with water well supplied. Sumitra's son his words obeyed, brought many a tree and deftly made, with branches in the forest cut, as Rama bade, a leafy hut. Then Rama, when the cottage stood, fair, firmly built, and wild with wood, to Lakshman spake, whose eager mind to do his brother's will inclined. Now, Lakshman, as our cot is made, must sacrifice be duly paid by us for lengthened life we hope, with vanishing of the antelope. Away, O bright-eyed Lakshman, speed! Struck by thy bow, a deer must bleed. As Scripture bids, we must not slight the duty that commands the right. Lakshman, the chief whose arrows laid his foeman low, his word obeyed, and Rama thus again addressed the swift performer of his haste. Prepare the vanishing thou hast shot, to sacrifice for this our cart. Haste, brother dear, for this the hour, and this the day of certain power. Then glorious Lakshman took the buck, his arrow in the wood had struck, bearing his mighty load he came, and laid it in the kindled flame. Soon as he saw the meat was done, and that the juices ceased to run, from the broiled carcass Lakshman then spoke thus to Rama, best of man. The carcass of the buck entire is ready dressed upon the fire. Now be the sacred rites begun, to please the God, thou godlike one. Rama the good, in ritual trained, pure from birth, with thoughts restrained, hasted those verses to repeat, which make the sacrifice complete. The host celestial came in view, and Rama to the cart withdrew, while a sweet sense of rapture stole through the unquailed hero's soul. He paid the Vishadeva's due, and Rudra's right, and Vishnu's too, nor wanted blessings to protect their new-built home did he neglect. With voice repressed he breathed the prayer, bathed duly in the river fair, and gave good offerings that remove the stain of sin, as texts approve. And many an altar there he made, and shrines to suit the holy shade, all decked with woodland chaplets sweet, and fruit and roots and roasted meat, with muttered prayer, as text require, water and grass and wood and fire. So Rama, Lakshman, Sita paid their offerings to each god and shade, and entered then their pleasant cart, that bore fair signs of happy lot. They entered the illustrious tree, the well-set cottage, fair to see, roofed with the leaves of many a tree, and fenced from wind and rain. So at their father Brahma's call, the gods of heaven, assembling all, to their own glorious council hall, advance in shining train. So resting on that lovely hill, near the fair lily-covered rill, the happy prince forgot, surrounded by the birds and deer, the war, the longing, and the fear that gloomed the exile's lot. Canto 57. Sumantra's Return. When Rama reached the southern bank, King Guha's heart with sorrow sank. He with Sumantra talked and spent, with his deep sorrow homeward went. Sumantra, as the king decreed, yoked to the car each noble steed, and to Ayodhya city sped, with his sad heart disquieted. On lake and brook and scented grove his glances fall as on he drove. City and village came in view, as over the road his coursers flew. On the third day the charioteer, when now the hour of night was near, came to Ayodhya's gate and found the city all in sorrow drowned, to him in spirit quiet cast down. Forsaken seemed the silent town, and by the rush of grief oppressed, he pondered in his mournful breast, is all Ayodhya bound with grief, steed, elephant, and man and chief? Does her loved Rama's exile so afflict her with fires of war? Thus as he mused, his steeds flew fast, and swiftly through the gate he passed. On drove the charioteer, and then, in hundreds, yea, in thousands men, ran to the car from every side, and Rama, where is Rama? cried. Sumantra said, my chariot bore the duteous prince to Ganga's shore. I left him there at his behest, and homeward to Ayodhya pressed. Soon as the ancient people knew that he was over the flood they drew, deep sighs and crying, Rama all, wailed, and big tears began to fall. He heard the mournful words prolonged, as here and there the people thronged. War, war for us, forlorn, undone, no more to look on Raghu's son. He is like again we never shall see, of heart so true, of hand so free. In gifts, in gatherings for debate, when Mary's pomps we celebrate, what should we do, what earthly thing can rest or hope or pleasure bring? Thus the sad town, which Rama kept as a kind father, wailed and wept. Each mansion, as the car went by, sent forth a loud and bitter cry, as to the window every dame, mourning for banished Rama, came. As his sad eyes with tears overflowed, he sped along the royal road to Dasarath's high abode. There, leaping down his car he stayed, within the gates his way he made. Through 7 broad courts he onward hied, where people thronged on every side. From each high terrace, wild with war, the royal ladies flocked below. He heard them talk in gentle tone, as each for Rama made her moan. What will the charioteer reply to Queen Kaushalya's eager cry? With Rama from the gates he went, homeward alone his steps are bent. Heart is alive, with war distressed, but difficult to win is rest, if, when her son is banished deal, she lives beneath her load of ill. Such was the speech Sumantra heard from them whom grief unfeigned had steered. As fires of anguish burnt him true, swift to the monarch's hall he drew. Past the 8th court, there met his sight the sovereign in his palace bright, still weeping for his son forlorn, pale, faint, and all with sorrow worn. As there he sat, Sumantra bent, and did obeisance reverent, and to the king repeated over the message he from Rama bore. The monarch heard, and well nigh brake his heart, but yet no word he spake. Fainting to earth he fell, and dumb, by grief for Rama overcome. Rang through the hall a startling cry, the women's arms were tossed on high, when with his senses all astray, upon the ground the monarch lay. Kausalya, with Sumitra's aid, raised from the ground her lord dismayed. Sire of high fate, she cried, O why dost thou so single word reply to Rama's messenger who brings news of his painful wanderings? The great injustice done art thou, shame-stricken for thy conduct now. Rise up, and do thy part, bestow comfort and help in this our war. Speak freely, king, dismiss thy fear, for Queen Kaikeyi stands not near, afraid of whom thou wouldst not seek tidings of Rama, freely speak. When the sad queen had ended so, she sank, insatiate with her woe, and prostrate lay upon the ground, while her faint voice by sobs was drowned. When all the ladies in despair saw Queen Kausalya wailing there, and the poor king oppressed with pain, they flocked around and wept again. End of Cantos 55, 56 and 57.